All right, welcome back to My Mom's Basement. It is Robbie Fox, and I am here in person with Modson for our second interview together. We did one via Zoom
My
a while
mom's
ago.
basement. Yeah.
My Mom's Basement.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to get real loud. Sorry. I'm excited.
No, get louder. You know, when I sound checked
I'm
that
awake.
mic,
It's New York City.
I tried to be louder on that mic because I was like, I know Mod's
you know,
be loud.
I'm coming in with the energy.
Yeah. How we feeling in New York?
Dude, really good. It's the first time I've been up before noon in a while on this tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel good today.
Have you visited any of your Bob Dylan spots in New York yet?
Dude, not yet. We just pulled in.
Oh, okay.
I
You
will.
just got
I will
to New
tonight. I will tonight. 100%.
I'm so excited for tonight. I'll be there. Irving Plaza, Stand Atlantic opening.
Yeah, you
How
like
has it
Stand
been?
Atlantic?
Dude, I love Stand Atlantic.
Okay, Stand Atlantic's amazing. They're incredible.
Do you pick your openers?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Which, furthermore, what I'm going to say, kid who's playing first, Party Alone, this is his first tour ever. He's going to be one of the biggest artists in the world.
I saw you posting about him on your Instagram
I
story.
put
You just dropped a
everything
new
on it.
song, yeah.
I put everything on it.
Very
Bro,
cool
it's
how
gonna
you're
be-
supportive of all the younger artists in the scene.
Well, I love that. That's like one of my favorite things. Let me get this right. That's like one of my favorite things is like curating something and try my best to bring someone that is already doing something and then bringing out someone who I believe is going to like take over. Like I brought Nash on his first tour.
Yeah.
I brought Black Bear on like his first tour. G-Eazy on his first tour. You know, like
That's
it's kind of
crazy. It's a crazy resume you got
Yeah,
onto
it's
that.
kind of
Yeah.
something that I like take pride in. So Party Alone is next.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I know you haven't visited the Dylan spots yet, but
No.
that is a New York thing for you. You like to see some of the bars that he frequented and stuff like that.
Yeah, I almost got robbed last time I did it. But
Did you really?
Yeah, because I was like walking around at like 5 a.m. and some of those spots get a
Well,
little,
yeah.
get a little crazy, but it was good. Yeah.
When
Bob
did you
Dylan
get
is
into
my-
Dylan? Did you get into Dylan when you were super young?
So, like by proxy. So I grew up on a farm in Minnesota.
Mhm.
Famously, Bob Dylan has a farm in Minnesota, right? That was like a mile away from where I grew up. So every time we passed it, like my parents would be like, "That's like Bob Dylan's like farm right there." And like when you're younger, you're kind of like, "All right, parents, like
Yeah.
I mean, like do my own thing, right?" So really so Bob Dylan was like a part of my DNA since day one. But really when it all clicked was right after high school. Right after high school, I got kicked out of my band. Then I thought we were going to take over the world. I got kicked out. They told me I sucked at drums. And fuck you.
They were wrong.
And so I was like, all right, maybe I should try something different then. I actually kind of listened to him. I was like, all right, fine. Maybe I'm not a drummer anymore. And everyone told me my whole life growing up that I couldn't sing. And all I would hear about Bob Dylan, he's like a very polarizing artist.
Yeah, his voice specifically.
Yeah, so many people are like, oh my God, you can't, Mama's in the basement. People are like, he cannot sing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we have something in common. It's like, I think you're one of the greatest, you know what I'm saying? And so I fell in love with it. And then the other thing about Bob Dylan is like, dude, he's in his 80s. He's still making music. He's still on tour. I'm still discovering albums by him, you
Mhm.
know? I think dude's got like 50 albums.
That's crazy.
That's the kind of artist I look up to. You
Yeah.
know? The ones that are like that's this whole that is my whole like MO with everything is like, dude, right now, especially right now in this culture, people think if you haven't, now it's a very dangerous word to say made it or successful because those are defined so differently, but people think like if you haven't made it by 22, it's getting younger every year, but like by 22, 25, like you're supposed to give up on your dreams.
Yeah,
It's so stupid.
it's crazy.
That's so stupid. I mean, I understand it. I understand why people would think that, but I think it's important to have people to look up to that make you think the opposite, you know? Like Jay-Z didn't drop his first album till he was 27 years old or 28 years old, Reasonable Doubt. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Like, you had a completely different life before 28, and then you become one of the greatest, you know? So I think it's really important to shed light on those kind of stories, not like this person was rich and famous at 19, you know?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. So let's talk God Save the Teen.
Yeah.
When did God Save the Teen start coming about, your new album? Because I love it. I loved the last album as well, and it
Yeah.
feels like you built on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I specifically made like a sequel to that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I would say it started shortly after Internet Killed the Rock Star came out because I'm just in the studio. You
Yeah.
know, I just make music and, um, dude, inspiration is a real thing, but it only finds you when you're working. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I like to try to be around my tools as much as possible. So like the first song that I made for that album would have been Eyelids. You
Oh, the
know?
opening song.
Yeah, which I totally that was what created it. Was I was like, okay, here's actually the real deal. You know, where is your boy tonight? I hope he is a
Oh shit.
gentleman.
That
Right?
intro, yeah.
I was like, dude, when's the last time someone started just a cappella?
Yeah. That was going to be one of the first things I bring up about this whole album, that whole song, the fact that you
like-
started the album a cappella.
I'm
It's
like,
sick.
when's the last time someone's done that? So that was like sitting in the back of my head. And then, dude, is whatever artsy or cliche as it sounds like. I actually did wake up out of a dream where I heard your face is painted on the inside of my eyelids. Like, I heard that in my head. And like I thought it was very poetic, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's saying every time I close my eyes, I see your face, and I was like, dude, that's exactly how my next album starts.
Wow.
Like you hit play, and instead of usually you hit play on an album and the intro is like this like this pretty little like, all right, we're gonna open you into this album. I was like, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a unique way. It's not the pop punk like phased drums coming in.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. No.
Yeah.
It punches you in the face with it. Did you play drums on this album?
Every song.
Dude, sick drums on this album. Like awesome choices.
Thank you.
Really, really great drums. The
Thank
whole
you.
album.
I have an amazing drummer that plays live with me. He's watching right now. What up, Common Grail? I love you. And he said the same thing, which like I was like, wow, thank you. Like definitely like here's the thing is like growing up, obviously Travis Barker was my god, you know, who is essentially like the busiest yet most tasteful drummer in the world, right?
Yeah.
Like he is talking, you know. But for this album, I was definitely more inspired by like a Dave Grohl kind of drummer.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Where it wasn't like, all right, let's like fill up all the empty space with
cymbals and
yeah,
splashes.
yeah. It was more like, okay, let's like find pockets on this, and more inspired by that, and due to doing that, it kind of opened up like a different style of drumming for me. And yeah, there's some busy parts of it but for the most part, it's like, there's something weird different that happens when you play drums to something that you're also singing on, because then you're in syncopation with that. Whereas most drummers, like, they don't even know what the singer's gonna do until they're done.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, At least that's how I grew up. Was like
First track you lay down, right?
Yeah, well, we'd like make the music, and then the singer would come on top of it. So it's like knowing what I'm gonna do and being able to like mimic that with the drums. I think it opens up a whole different world.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, the Grohl style, almost caveman fills into some of the choruses on the snare and stuff.
There's like 4-bar fills that are just like
but they make that chorus like hit in harder when it finally explodes and stuff. So that was really cool. What about the cover of the album? Where did the inspiration behind that come from?
Yo, the inspiration for that, which took a long time, like, yo, I like to take risks, and like obviously like there's a lot of like blasphemy that could come with that. But so what it is essentially like remaking the Last Supper.
The pop punk Last Supper.
Yeah, it's like the Last Supper, but like what it would look like right now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a sign of the times, and it's also like it's also a warning sign. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's representation of like the first thing you see to the outer edge of me is like someone like about to hit me with a baseball bat, and on the other side of me is someone filming it laughing, because it's like right now in this day and age, you see someone in trouble, like the society's first instinct is to film it.
Whip your phone out, yeah.
rather than help. You know, then there's like a representation of someone who has like their phone connected to their hand, and you know, then there's you know, signs of the easy addiction. It's like all these societal pressures that are happening right now.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole idea of the album is like, it's called God Save the Teen, because if there's any duty that anyone has that has accumulated years on this earth, it is to shed light to the people that come after them, you know? And it's basically saying like, there's this extreme idea for perfection right now. Okay? Just is something as easy as the filters that we've been given. These younger kids, and I've felt it myself even. We've all felt it, because when you put those filters on, you go, oh, whoa, like I look good like that.
Yeah, like, damn, I got a tan.
And
I'm
then
not
you
bad.
take
That's
them
what I'm
off.
thinking. Yeah.
And, bro, and then you take them off, though, and people feel like ugly.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's you know,
Kids growing up in that is what you're saying.
Kids
Yeah.
growing up in that, it would essentially make you be like, I'm like afraid to leave the house because people think I look this way, and like, am I ugly without it?
Yeah.
And I just think that it's just like warning signs out there that like to speak on, and you know, like there's a lot of pushback from it, because like I said, when you touch something that's like religious or whatever, there's always gonna be like danger with it. Dude, I don't think art exists in comfort. You know, I think it exists in total fear and in being polarizing, you know.
Yeah.
So,
No protests outside Mod Sun concerts over that, though, right?
Not for that.
All right, good. I know when like Kevin Smith put out Dogma in the '90s, he was getting protests and stuff. He
Yeah.
actually went to his own protest.
Yeah.
He like acted as a protester.
See,
That's the
there
way to
you go.
deal with it. You know? Just lean into it.
That's amazing. Yes.
And you had no singles for this album.
None.
Why did you come up with that concept? Like, how did you come up with that concept? Nobody does it anymore.
No one does that anymore. It is the last thing that anyone would recommend an artist do right now in this day and age. Like,
Yeah.
you should not do that. And I'm like, perfect. That's what I'm gonna do. Because
I like that you did it. I'm such an album fan that
I
sometimes
am too.
when someone drops, 5 singles from the new album, and then the album drops, you're like, oh, it's half a new album. I know 5 of these songs already.
I've been dealing with that for the last, like, okay, I am an artist, okay? I'm an artist, but at the core of it, I'm a music freak, okay? I listen to New Music Friday on Spotify. At Thursday, I'm from LA. Thursday at 9 p.m. Every Thursday, I go through the list. I listen to the albums that drop. Like, I'm a freak. And yeah. I love doing it. I still see the importance in all that. And I have favorite artists, and I go and listen to their album, and as much as I don't want to, there's something inside me that's like, heard this one skip.
Yeah.
The second you do that, you lose the experience,
The flow of the album.
of a body of work.
Yeah.
You lose that. And like, if you're trying to tell a story through an album, like, an artist has to understand that. And again, like, when you're living in comfort and you're doing what you're supposed to do, or you're doing what everyone else is doing, it loses, like, I mean, this is my 5th official album, but prior to that, I've got 4 EPs out. I've got 3 mixtapes out. Like, as Mod Sun, I've probably dropped over 1,200 songs. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
At this point, like, I don't want to be just regurgitating what I've done. And I personally think that that's the wave that's coming next, is going back to albums. I like really see the, like,
I hope so.
Yeah, I really see history repeating itself. So like, I came from the days of albums dropping on Tuesday, me skipping school, going to Best Buy, buying the album, and riding around in my car and listening to a full album.
Yeah.
Maybe you've heard one song, but that's like all you got. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was like a song.
People would buy an album because they liked one song on it.
Yes.
You know,
and then
they would discover the rest of it.
Yes. And now the flip side to that is, I'm allowing the people that listen to me to tell me what the standout songs are.
Yeah.
Which as an artist, when you're trying to put your finger on the pulse of like what your best is, what is going to work, what is going to react, when you're trying to do that, you're oftentimes like misled in a lot of ways. And so I'm going out and playing this album live, and I'm playing like a good portion of it live, and every song feels like it was a single.
Oh, great.
Because they're not going like, oh, this is the big one.
Yeah.
We know this one. They're like, oh, like we know every song on the album.
Yeah.
And so I'm playing songs that are like like I have a song called When We're Dead on the album that would have, if I was doing this in the traditional way, would have never been a single.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm playing it, it feels just like I'm playing Karma.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through the album track by track if it's
Okay,
if it's
let's
cool.
go.
I love doing this with artists. So opens with Eyelids, like
Yeah.
we talked about. Love the way you open it, acapella, great full sound. Is there anything sonically you were chasing down on, like this song or the album specifically, when it comes to guitar tones, bass tones, stuff like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, like removing the computer as much as possible.
Yeah.
And actually getting like raw tones. But when it comes to like the sound of the album, I'm more like a composer of like the energy that I'm capturing when I'm behind the mic, and in that way, and doing everything I can to act as if I don't own it,
Okay.
like, and I mean own it, like I don't sit and write in a notebook, right? I don't say, all right, we just made this bed of music, leave the room for an hour, let me sit here and like vibe off it. I'm like, hear it for 30 seconds. We may just get like a guitar part down, and I'm like, all right, let me go behind the mic, and then I sound like a fool for like a minute, just behind it, just like and doing all that, and then through that allowing myself to, again, not to sound like artsy or whatever, but just like be channeled by something.
Yeah, let it out. You're allowed to sound artsy.
Yeah,
You're an artist.
Yeah. I mean, like allowing myself to just not be in control. That's what I mean when I say don't own it. Like, I'm not sitting there going, oh, this is my brilliant thoughts. It's like, what can I be given right now? John Feldman, who I made this album with, he says cool things to me, like sometimes the song is waiting for you at the studio,
Yeah.
and I believe in that kind of stuff. So with Eyelids in general, I didn't actually even have any music at all. Like I said, I heard that part in my head, and that was all I needed to be like, this is what I'm bringing in. And I just went in and sang that part with nothing. I was like, E major is kind of like my hot spot, right?
Yep.
I'm like, just we're in E major. Let me just go sing this, and then we'll create it. And there's some good there's like some good wordplay in the verses and stuff that kind of flows together. But really, it was just like, I definitely knew for that song that I wanted a drum-driven bridge.
Yeah.
Where if we're talking about drums, like that's probably one of the bridge part, drum-wise, on that song. That was probably like that would be the first thing I would play. If you were like, yo, play your favorite part on drums from the album, like I'd sit down.
Yeah. The way you use the cymbals on that is awesome.
Yeah. So, so that song was just purely like, I knew that was the intro.
Yeah.
So going into it, I was like, how am I? Oh, where did I put my coffee, dude? Is it around here? There it is. I was like, how do I want to open this album? And I just knew that I didn't want like a typical like, let's slowly bring him into the album.
Yeah, crash him in.
Potentially the most energetic, upbeat song on the album is that. And that's how I wanted to open it.
You keep it upbeat and energetic with Revenge, the next song. I imagine this one going real hard live.
So
Huge
hard.
Exploding chorus.
So hard.
Yeah, crowd going crazy, hands up
Yeah.
and down.
Yeah. They scream the words. Yeah.
How did this one come together?
This one came together off of like just the idea that like I'm I'm very good at making a song like Karma, like Revenge, which is like being like, I remember what it felt like to have everyone saying no to me. To have everyone being like, you're not going to make it. You're from this suburb in Minnesota. The only people that came from this city are hockey players. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And you're skateboarding, and this isn't like 2001 to 2003. This is not X Games and Olympic skateboarding, Nyjah Houston like times. All right, this was like you got made fun of for skateboarding, plain and simple. And we're wearing girls' jeans. You know, they had not made tight men's jeans. We're we're dressing different. We're wearing extra small T-shirts, and you're the outcast
Hmm.
in the city. And I know exactly what that feels like. And if I'm ever to go to an emotion of my youth, it is immediately right there. Okay. And living well is the best revenge. And that's like the whole epitome of that song. Is being like, I know it hurts like hell because you know I'm living so well. Because I know so many of those people who told me no, who made fun of me, told me I'd never make it. Like, I know they have to see me doing it.
Yeah.
I know they have to. And like, not only that, but like the things that I was saying I was gonna do when I was in high school, like that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone needs a song like that. That's like, yeah, heartbreak song is great because it makes you feel healed. A love song is great because it's like I relate to that. Like I want to sing this to my partner. You know what I'm saying? But there's nothing like having a song that at 2 a.m. you can drive around to and be like, fuck the world, man. I'm going to do this shit. No one can tell me different.
Yeah. Shoved it in everyone's face that told me I
Yeah.
couldn't.
And I'm like, yo, I got that hook done. That you make me feel so sick. I got that part done. And then just off of that, the music kept playing. And I was like, R-E-V-E. And like, duh, we get it. Like the like whole spelling, like this shit is
It works,
bananas.
though.
B-A-N-A-N-A, A-B-C-D-E-F-U. Like we heard it. Like it's been done. I've never done it. And I was like, yo, do you remember the band Sleigh Bells?
Sounds very familiar.
You'd,
Yeah.
you'd remember Sleigh Bells. But there's always like this like cheerleader element.
Yeah.
Hey Mickey, you're so fine. You're
Yeah.
so, that kind of whole thing. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Gang vocal, cheerleader element. Like, I love that shit. And I was like, yo, this is, if I'm going to ever do it on a song, it's this. And I'm going to spell the word revenge. Like,
Did you know that B-A-N-A-N-A, do you know where that comes from?
No.
Courtney Love apparently said in an interview that Gwen Stefani's like nothing but a cheerleader. And Gwen Stefani said, oh, I'll show you a cheerleader. And she went out and recorded that song.
Hard.
Pretty sick, huh?
So
You
sick.
never would have thought Hollaback Girl was kind of a diss track at Courtney Love.
Love Gwen Stefani
Yeah.
so much.
That's pretty
dude.
sick. All right, track 3 we'll call My Mom's Basement Song today. Is that cool?
Yes. That should have been the title, man. Fuck, I gotta hit you up next time before I start naming these songs, man.
Yo, great production, great lyrics. You're
yes.
still performing at every city, every night.
Because it's one of my favorite songs I've ever made.
It's a really great song.
It's
Beautiful
one of my
song.
favorite songs I've ever made. Like,
Yeah.
It, like, I enjoy showing growth in my journey, and to have a song like that feels like a song in the later Oasis catalog to me.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought up Oasis. I love Oasis so
It-
much.
that's like what it feels like to me. To have a song that's like very string and acoustic driven.
Yeah, you got a lot of strings on this album.
A lot, bro. Because I was really leaning into Oasis, Goo Goo Dolls, like that.
I love that, yeah.
world,
The Verve a little.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Man, like those feelings of that those bands gave me, and just lyrically, there's such a great dichotomy on that song because like the music does feel happy, it does feel somber, but it's like it does feel happy, and I love the dichotomy of music when you take something that sounds happy and put like a darker lyrical landscape on top of it. You
Yeah.
know, she blew me a kiss and I didn't want to blow my brains out anymore. Like I don't know. To me, that's just like those are like. I mean, some people might think whatever of it, but to me, those feel like poetic, great lyrics to me.
I think they are. I think
You
the whole
know?
album has a lot of like mature, great lyrics all over it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I mean, yeah, that's the way that that I was feeling for 2.5 years, was just like sleep next to an angel, but my demons keep me up at night because I'm a fucking insomniac.
Yeah.
In every case, I'm an insomniac. You know, I had to eat 2 melatonin gummies last night at midnight so I could be here today and not be up until 5 a.m. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just the way that my brain works is like it runs at night, and I'm laying in bed and I'm just like I would love for my brain to turn off, but I've legitimately have not had a moment of silence in my entire life.
Yeah.
There's always this internal dialogue, which I imagine so many people struggle with. But then I come to find out as well that not everyone does. You know, I'll never forget, like, asking my mom one time, like, we were sitting, I must have been, like, 16. I'm, like, sitting downstairs with her in our basement, in my mom's basement. And like, I turn off the TV and I look over at her. And I, like, wait, like, 20 seconds. And I'm like, what's going on in your head right now? And she's like, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And like that moment, I was like, wow, so there is a different side
Yeah.
of the human mind.
Other than all the noise.
Yes, some people are constantly having this internal dialogue, this voice in their head going on. And some people literally have like this peaceful, serene thing going on in their head. And I think that like kind of splits people in half down the middle of like this side or this side. And it kind of shows like what you do with your life.
I think you're right. I'm on your side. I
Yeah.
can't imagine the you know, voiceless head or
Yeah.
whatever, the noiseless
Yeah.
head.
And like, yo, just like again on that song before we move on, like Bob Dylan famously had songs called like Sarah and stuff
Yeah.
like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, what a lost art
Yeah.
to really like say it exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know, there's this idea that an artist, to be relatable, you need to be saying something that everyone can relate to. And that's what they think is going to cause relatability. The strange thing that happens with music and with life is the more you tell your exact story, that's what actually causes extreme relatability.
Yeah, the connection.
It's like then someone takes it and makes it their own rather than feeling like it's everyone's. They're like, all right, I'm going to take this, turn it into mine now. And that's what that song is to me, is like total honesty.
Yeah. And then Shelter, love the acoustic electric guitar combo that this comes in with.
And it's in 6.
Oh, it is in 6, isn't it? Oh shit. Is this
The
the only
one
Yeah.
thing I missed on Internet Killed the Rockstar.
Is not doing a song in a weird time signature?
Not having a song in 6.
Yeah.
The human ear that's not musically trained has no idea what's going on when they hear a song in 6, but they feel it.
Yeah.
They don't know that it's in a swing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For anyone out there, almost 99 to 100% of the songs you are going to hear today, whether you're riding around in your car or you hit play on Spotify or whatever you listen to, are going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. When you hear a song in 6, it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? When you get that feeling of a song in 6, it takes you somewhere else.
Yeah, the chorus. As soon as you said that, like just thinking to that chorus, like you get that feeling.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, going into this album, that was one of the things I had on the list. Was I was like, I can't believe. I don't know if in my career, because I don't know if you're ever gonna hear like a rap song in 6. That is very difficult. That is very difficult to do. The flow that you have to do on a song in 6 is extremely crazy. So I don't know if in my career I've ever released a song in 6 actually.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Big first.
So going into it, like I absolutely had to have that on the album, and again, like we'll get to it, but Iris being one of my favorite songs in the world. Sections of Iris are in 6. Sections are in 4. It's a very strange
It's a complex song, yeah.
But that was my Iris, was Shelter.
I love that, yeah.
And it was completely like based off of a real moment of being like someone pulling me off the edge, you know. Like I have dude, I battle with my mind all the time, you know, and am learning every day how to turn down my tendencies of self-sabotage, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky enough to be with someone at some point in your life that tries to pull you out of those things, you know, you find shelter from the world. And then there's also like one of my favorite Bob Dylan songs is Shelter from the Storm. You know, come in, she said, I'll give you a shelter from the storm. And I was like, yeah, like I feel that 100%. And like I had found shelter in someone in this world, and that's what that song was. And originally I was a day away from having Johnny Resnick of the Goo Goo Dolls sing on that song.
Oh, wow.
And they were in the middle of making their latest album.
Yeah.
And we were in talks. They had the song. Johnny loved it. He was about to sing on it, and then they were just like, dude, like, you never know what happens in the studio. So it's like they were working on their new album, and it's like it just didn't come through all the way.
Yeah.
You know? But they were about to be on that song, and you know, that's a true story about that one.
Well, maybe in the future you'll
Yeah.
get collab.
Oh, 100.
I mean, I saw them posting your Iris cover and everything. I was like, they got to be loving that.
And they wished me a happy birthday.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
And
All
I'm
right.
like,
I mean, the
I'm
connection
like,
is there.
They're riding with me.
Shout out Goo Goo Dolls. They're going on tour with our boys OAR this summer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I definitely need to go.
Yeah.
Definitely need to
The
go.
next song in this album, I fucking love. Courtney Fucked Kurt.
Yes.
Did you know going into this album, I wanted just a straight up punk song?
Yo, I wanted it too. I needed it. What do you think about that one?
Dude, I love it. And I love the guitar riff. Is
Yeah.
this like crazy strenuous to record on your voice or no?
No.
Because
No.
I was thinking, like, is a punk song, I mean, you got straight up screams in there.
Yeah.
But you have a very powerful voice. So is this, like,
Yeah.
easier than the other songs for you? Because you're not having to hit specific notes?
Kind of. It's a song that's in chromatic tuning, so it's like it kind of allowed me to just straight up yell.
Yeah.
And do you remember the band Comeback Kid?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I loved that kind of, you know, I was in a band called Scary Kids Scaring Kids and a band called Four Letter Lie, which definitely Four Letter Lie had like screaming, like under oath, like
Yeah.
right? And that was never my bag. My bag was more like Comeback Kid. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that kind of, and
The more fast screaming, right?
yeah, and more of shouting than the growl, right?
Yes.
And
The growl took over for a while.
oh, dude, and just like, yo, there's one thing to do like do got like that kind of drumming. It's another thing to just do straight up tuck 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 tuck
Yeah.
tuck tuck tuck. And I was like, dude, that's the energy I need. Like I need a song. I would imagine that song's like 1:40 or like it's under 2 minutes or something. I was like, I need a song under 2 minutes. I need a song that I can like fully be like, open this shit up. Like,
Lose
you
your
know?
mind. Yeah, have the
Yes.
crowd lose their minds.
Yes, I need a song that I can have just like full on distortion on my vocals live.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to like actually make a song that actually has like all of those feelings, but also again like some kind of like deeper message, like a buried message in it, which is like the romanticization of death and chaos.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, dude, I got the 27 Club all tatted on here. One of my first tattoos I ever got, right? Like, I was a drug addict, alcoholic for 13 years, you know? I literally wore the same leather pants for 2 years straight, thinking I was Jim Morrison stumbling down Sunset Boulevard with a bottle of whiskey and an 8-ball in my pocket, you know? Thinking that was what being a rock star was, you know? And dude, I have Sid and Nancy tatted on me. Like, all this stuff. Like, I was addicted to the chaos. And Jim Morrison died. And all he wanted his whole life was to be known as a poet, not some, like, crazy rock star. And the world painted him this one way, which was like the Lizard King, the crazy, and he was like, dude, I'm a poet, and so many people are so attracted to the chaos side, not the poetic side. And in this day and age, it's like, like Louis Vuitton has the padlock necklace, you know what I'm saying? Like the Sid necklace, like we're like really pushing that side of things, of like, the death of Kurt Cobain and let's all dress grungy and this and that. And it's like, yo, I just wanted to talk about the other side. Like, the lyrics are like, you sing all the songs but you don't know what the words mean. Put a leather jacket on and think that you are so seen. Dark eye shadow makes you look heroin chic. Use your parents' scissors just to cut holes in your jeans. Like, it's all talking about the fact of, like, people not knowing what they're looking at.
Yeah, which is a very Kurt Cobain message,
Yes.
like the In Bloom message almost.
Yes, 100%. And just talking about that other side, like, stop romanticizing death. Shotguns and needles are not your friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that. Like, I really wanted to touch on that, and that song just, like, did it all. And when we play, bro, when you see it tonight, it's like,
I can't wait for that tonight.
Bro, whatever we captured on record is like a fraction of what happens live. That song is like made for live.
Yeah. And then you follow it up with kind of a different side of Mod Sun, a little more hip hop influence in this one, SOS with Royal and the Serpent.
Yeah.
Really cool one.
Love that song. That was that was probably the second. I think that was the second song I made for this album. And I think so that was one of the only songs that John Feldman has ever made, like, let's call it a beat, and sent it to me before. Like, I wasn't in the studio.
Yeah.
And John Feldman's favorite band of all time. This is the singer Goldfinger, real punk. His favorite band of all time is Coldplay.
Get out of here.
It's Coldplay.
Wow.
His
that
favorite
really
band.
surprises me.
Favorite band of all time.
I thought you were going to say, like, U2.
Yeah,
which is not too far off.
I always go to you whenever I want that, like, line 60 delay guitar. Like, give me some edge.
Yeah.
Some, like, U2 shit. Like, he doesn't really reference them that much, I don't think. But there is so much of that. There's, like, dude, I love Angels and Airwaves, like, which is so based off U2.
Yeah.
I love delay guitars, like, all that. If you listen closely to SOS, you can totally hear, like, the inspiration of, like, a Coldplay piano part into guitar.
Yeah.
And
piano on this record as well.
Yeah.
A lot of piano.
A lot of piano. I love it. I think those are, like, the signs of just, like, actually, in the I always hated when a band was like, we're making a mature album, because then you're like, yo, like, I don't like this. Like,
yeah, you're like, I'm trying to stay young over here.
Yeah, you were like, do what you do good.
Yeah.
And so, without, like, jumping the line too much and changing what I do and taking away what people loved, like, I wanted to make it feel more grown with the sonic landscape that it's kind of buried. Like, a musician like yourself does hear it and they're like, oh, I can pick that out. But most people, it all just sounds like one instrument.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But really, there's a bed of stems, like 100 stems.
Yeah.
And I kind of try to, like, let those layers live and kind of show the growth without screaming at you and saying it. But yeah, SOS, Royal and the Serpent, one of the best new artists in the game right now. She's totally gonna take over the world. She wasn't on the song originally, and I went and saw her perform at the Troubadour in LA, and I was like, oh, she a real one. I was like, come to the studio tomorrow.
That's awesome. That's a cool story of that coming together.
Yeah.
And then Single Mothers, beautiful song, beautiful lyrics. You got to sing it to your mom on tour, right?
Yes.
She came on tour with you for the first half or first couple shows.
Yeah. When life goes crazy, call your mom.
That's a fact. I'm a mama's boy myself, single mother I've got, and this song is emotional.
Dude, you gotta play it for her.
Oh, I will. I'll send
Yeah.
it to her.
Yeah, you gotta send it to her.
You've got the voicemail intro and outro on this one
Yeah,
as well. Like
yeah.
that just adds to the emotion on it.
Yeah, so here's like the first off, it's probably my favorite song I've ever made. Period. Cause again, it's like a story that's so personal to me, that's like reaching so many people that don't know who I am, don't need to see my face, don't need to like any other songs by me. They hear that and they're like, thank you. Why is no one giving me this song? You know, I wrote that song on my last album, Internet Killed the Rockstar. I had a song for my father who had passed away. And I knew on this one that, you know, he never got to hear that song, right? So I was like, I want to make a song for my mom before it's too late, that she doesn't get to hear it. And knowing that I was going to do that on this album, make a song for my mom, I was like, what can I tap into? And it just came to me. I was like, I've never heard a song for a single mother. I mean, I've never even heard a song for like single parents, because that is an extremely, it is a really hard job, and to the point where I didn't even, once I started making the song, I started asking her questions for the first time of like, what was it like? You know, these are things you don't really, they make it look so easy.
Yeah.
You know, they really hide, they have to hide so much from their children and make it seem like everything's okay, when it's like, dude, go through a breakup. You know what that feels. Go through a divorce. You could only imagine what that feels like. Go through a divorce where there's children involved and custody and child support and this and that. Like, dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything on their mind that they have to worry about, because everything falls on them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And they're truly superheroes. And single parents are superheroes. In my case, it was having a single mom that had no help at all. We started with absolutely nothing, you know, and she worked her ass off and let go of all her dreams to see mine and my sister's come true. And it's just like my favorite song I've ever made, because it's that pure to me.
It's beautiful. Shout out Mom Son.
Absolutely, Mom Son. I know you're gonna watch this.
And then Iris, your cover of Iris next. Awesome cover. I know you're cool with the Goo Goo Dolls and Johnny now. Do you have to get permission to do something like this on an album, or can you just record a cover?
So, you don't have to get permission.
Interesting.
You just have to forfeit everything. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So it's like, essentially the band's like, yeah, do whatever you want. And if it
We
goes,
make the money,
if
right?
it goes well, we make,
Gotcha.
You know, in this case, like we definitely like hit them up, like, what do you think? Like, you cool with it? And so many people have, whether it be recorded or not, like performed that song as a cover, and that song means so much to people. So going into it, I wanted to keep it as original as possible. You know, like, it's a daunting task to try to cover a timeless song,
an iconic song.
Yeah, but if you're trying to like reinvent the wheel with it, a lot of things can go wrong. And I was just like, let's just keep it how it is. It's like, make it feel a little more like right now, you know.
Yeah. Some more background vocals on
yeah,
the final
let's put some
choruses,
808s
right?
on it. Let's like dirty up some guitars and like make the drums a little bigger, and make the bridge not 4 minutes. Like, you know, like, what, bro, a song like that to go like #1 in the world at any time, but to have like a legitimate 3-minute bridge of just instruments is insane.
We do Semi-Charmed Life live in Pop Punk, and the bridge of that song goes on so long, we're like, we're doing the radio edit.
Yeah,
like, it goes on with the doing the meth and this and that and that.
I know.
We're like, how many lyrics does this song have? It's like they wrote 3 verses in the bridge.
Like, if people only knew that, like, I'll never forget, like, listening to that song with, like, my mom and my sister on a road trip, and I had to have been, like, 8 years old, and, like, me and my sister, this is the days when you'd go buy singles from the record store. My sister was, like, listening to, like, No Way Out, like, Puff Daddy or something. And I had Semi-Charmed Kind of Life, and I remember my mom being like, no, let's listen to Semi-Charmed Kind of Life more. Like, we don't need to listen to Puff Daddy this whole road trip. My sister's like, have you listened to the lyrics of that song? Like it is. He's legitimately like talking about doing crystal meth the
Yeah.
whole time.
Yeah.
Like,
Uppers, all that stuff. Yeah. Don't listen to that, Mom. Don't listen. It's just music's nice. Do 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 do
dude,
do. You know.
I'll never forget that.
When You're Dead, as you mentioned, this is another one that, despite its title, has a pretty optimistic sound.
Yeah.
Like you have a nice, like uplifting sound behind this. I like this song a lot.
I love this song so much. I think this song captures a lot of where my music may be taking me in the future. It's a song that when I perform, I'm not up there. All right, everybody jump, hands up. You know what I'm saying? It's like a song that I really am like singing and I'm like seeing it like reach people. And I think the lyrics are so beautiful in it. And I actually worked with a different group of people than I normally work with on it. And it just like, dude, there's just something magical about it. And I don't know, that song like lives like really in my heart. Every time I play it, it does something special for me. And I've seen it just like react. And again, like doing the no singles thing, like I said, like that wouldn't be a single, but it feels like it's, everything feels like it's like saying an album with no singles is like, I feel like every song is a single on it, you know?
Yeah. It's awesome. Wolves, one of my favorite songs in the album. Another one where I feel like lyrically this is pretty mature. Love the guitar coming in, almost Smashing Pumpkins like on the intro.
100%.
So sick.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was like my favorite song that I've ever. This was probably the third song I made for the album. And so there's like hints of like telling me that this album was going to be all over the place, being like the first three songs were Eyelids, SOS, and Wolves. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm really making like
three very different songs.
Very different songs. Wolves, it takes me to another world that like phased out guitar does something to me. And I mean, you know, in a lot of ways, like it's fun to document points of your life. You know, that's what I make albums for. It's like I'm an honest artist. I know that. I know I'm not being superficial or self-righteous by saying that, because I know that's what I am. I actually talk about what's going on at that moment in my life. And like that song, a lot of this album is covering like this story of love that I had, you know? And that song specifically, just like, I'll protect you from the wolves outside your window, you know? Like, I love that sentiment. Like, the world out there is a crazy fucking place, and, like, I will protect you from it, you know? That is my duty. And maybe I'll play that song tonight. I haven't played it on tour. Like,
oh, really?
I haven't played it on tour.
Have you been changing up the set at all?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
We kind of, like, just do whatever we want. Like I said, Bob Dylan's my favorite artist. He doesn't even play the same song the same way twice.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you said you got 1,200 songs released as Mod Son. You ever have songs you totally forget about? You like find one day, you're like, oh shit, that was a jam.
Yes.
You have to, right?
All the time. I do a medley of old songs in my set that we like kind of change up every once in a while, and like it's really fun going back. See, like I love doing it too, because like I'm not wearing a costume, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, I'm like a pop punk alt artist now, you know?
No, you're just Mod Son.
It's like, oh, I was a rapper then. It's like, dude, no. Like, I started in bands and then was in like screamo post-hardcore bands. I was in a pop punk band, then screamo post-hardcore bands, then rapping, then singing, then drums, like all of this. Like, it's like, that's the point of being an artist to me, you know, is not being like, I've done one thing forever and that's all you should do. You should be good at one thing. That's it. That's why I had to quit sports when I was younger. Well, the day I realized you couldn't be a pro hockey player, pro basketball player, pro baseball player at the same time, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I think life is about trying to be, when I die, I want my tombstone to be like poet, author, director, painter, musician, designer, director. You know what I'm saying? All that.
I love that. Drive. I love the orchestration in this one. And then I also love the bass line. Is Feldy playing bass on this?
Yes, he is.
I love that.
He's nasty.
He is.
When he plays bass, bro. He's nasty.
This is the real like standout bass song for me.
I love that. I was seconds away from not putting this on the album.
Really?
Yeah, this was the one
The,
song
the, the one that made the cut?
that Feldy was like, dude, if you've ever trusted me in your life, trust me, this is a special song. He's like, the day we made it, something special happened. It's like, just trust me on this. He's like, dude, I know you want your choruses to be filled with these like deep meanings and poetic. He's like, there's something special when you just say one word on the hook.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, all right, like let's do it.
Are you happy
And
you trusted him?
I absolutely am.
Glad.
My best friend, Machine Gun Kelly, he is like, bro, 90% of the streams that you have on that song are for me. He's like, I
Wow.
listen to that song every single day. He's like, that's one of the best songs you've ever made.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
got to be a great feeling when like your friend, but also like someone that you obviously respect as an artist feels that way about a song you almost didn't include.
100%, bro. And like, I'll never forget the day the album dropped, having people be like, drive, drive, drive. I love this one, drive.
Did
I
you
was
have
just
Feldy?
like-
You're like, all right, you were right.
So many times, I'm like, all right, bro, I'll never not trust you again, man.
And then the final song on the album, much like your last album, I feel like you have a pretty personal, emotional song to close it.
Yes.
This one being Delusional Confidence, and
Yes.
another one with some piano on it. Are you playing piano?
No, that was actually this guy named Sam Preston, who is amazing artist from the UK. And we made a whole other song before that day in the studio. And then he was just sitting messing around on piano. I was like, what is that? It's like, I love that piano part. I can do something with that. And, you know, like I famously listen to the people that listen to me. You know, I am an artist that reads the comments. I'm an artist that learns from critiques more than I do from compliments. So it's like, if someone's like, I love this, I love that you do this, I love that you do this. It's like, what do you take from that, right? You don't really get anything from that. When someone says like, yo, like, I missed when you did this, or maybe don't do that. Like, I actually like learn from that, you know? And like, I know that there's people in this world that need deeper messages of inspiration, right? Especially that listen to me. Like, I know that is a lot of why people listen to me, is because they're looking for a reason to be happy that day, or to feel like they're gonna make it through the day, or to be inspired to keep chasing their dreams, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And a song like Delusional Confidence, I was just like, this song is for the people that have been with me for a long time, because I've had a very long career, and a lot of those people have stuck around with me. And that song is like my song for them, you know?
Was that part of it throwing it back to like a rap verse, ending it, kind of like
Yeah.
getting an all-encompassing Mod Sun
Yeah.
career
Yeah.
vibe? Yeah.
Yeah, that was like one of the only things that I actually physically wrote before getting on the mic. Like, I sat down on my typeviter and I wrote out this.
You wrote it on a typewriter? That's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah, 100%. And I wrote out this long vomit of poetry, you know? And I was like, all right, like, I could sing this, or I could just like spoken word this on the end. And like, that was the last thing I did for the album. So that song was done
That's cool.
without that part. And as soon as I knew it was going to be the last song on the album, I was like, I know how I want to end it. Like, I knew how I want to start it. And then I was like, I need something special to end it. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I was like, Feldy, just loop that piano and like, just trust me. He was like, dude, the song's done. Like, he's like, the song's done. You don't need.
You're
you
good
don't
at
need to
those
do that."
cinematic endings though, because I
Yeah.
like Internet Killed the Rockstar is a great like cinematic ending.
Right where it all kicks in, and like,
And
I
even
knew that.
both albums like kind of loop well. Internet Killed the
Yeah.
Rockstar in that like dial-up tone, you could just loop right back to the first song.
Yeah.
This one with the God Save the Teen, you could loop right back to Eyelids.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. As an album guy, like you know,
That's my
I'm hitting the
dog.
thing where I just
That's my
replay the
dog.
album right away. So
That's my dog.
yeah.
I love that. Yeah. So that was my special message to end this album of trying to be like, what is God Save the Teen? You know, like what
Yeah.
does that mean? This is not like me being like, yeah, dude, I'm my son. I'm 36 years old, but I'm still a teen. Like that is not
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're not, yeah, you're
And
not
like a
singing
lot
about
of
forgetting
and
your locker
again,
combo.
yes, no, and again, being a polarizing artist, like people will see that and be like, man, this dude thinks he's a fucking teen. It's like, no, that's not what it is at
Yeah.
all. You
Well,
know?
fuck those people.
And
They're not, you know.
Yeah, fuck those people. But hello, if you're out there, like
True.
I'll tell
What's
you
up?
know, straight
Thanks
up as
for
well.
watching the whole interview.
Yeah, but straight up too. It's just like, it's like, no, like I feel a duty and a purpose to like say something to the generation coming up after me, you know, and the 2 generations after me, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, I can't wait to see that generation at the show tonight, Irving Plaza with Stand Atlantic. It's
Wow,
gonna be an awesome
that was
show.
a nice outro right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Bro.
Thank you for doing this, man. Thank you for breaking down the whole album with me. I thought it was really
course.
cool getting to see the whole process and everything.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. I love this. I love what you do. It was great talking to you last time. I was coming here excited. I knew I was going to be talking to you again. And you're great at what you do. I love y'all both very much. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Mod Son.